Okay, so I taught you, transit. So I taught you how to display some data with a box and whisker plot the other day, making a graph. Basically, your box and whisker plot was a form of a graph where people can look at it and get a good estimation of your set of data. Today, I'm going to show you a few other different ways to show data on a graph. The first thing that I'm going to show you how to do is how to make what's called a frequency table with intervals. Now, those are some big words. A frequency table means it shows how often a number shows up. Like the mode. Remember how we talked about mode? How mode shows up is a number that shows up the most often. This demonstrates mode. An interval shows, I'll show you what an interval is. That'll help. The first thing we need to do, this right here is our set of data. It is the number of representatives per state in the U.S. House of Representatives. So our frequency table, meaning how often do these numbers show up, needs to have some sort of title on it. Our title is going to be, look at this. I bet you wish you could do this. But you can't. Only I can do that. What's that? So, there's my title. Everything that we do has to have a title. First, the next thing we have to do is we have to come up with what's called our intervals. Our intervals will be the number of numbers that are between this number and this number. Let me show you. Like 0 and 5. What we're going to do is we're going to count up the number of numbers that are between 0 and 5. So, how many do we have? Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I have 22 of them. Okay? My next interval is going to be between 6 and 11. Why don't I just go 0 to 5 and then 5 to 10? Why don't I do that? Yeah. I already used 5. I can't. If I had 5 here, where would I? When I have a 5, what one would I put it in? So I got to go 6 to 11. Why don't I just make it easy and go 6 to 10? I'm going up by 5s. I have groups of 5. 0 to 5 is 5. 6 to 11 is 5. What do you think my next interval? These are intervals. 0 to 5 is an interval. 6 to 11 is an interval. What do you think my next interval will be? Yeah. 12 to 17. What do you think my next interval after that will be? $23. 18 to 23. My next one after that is going to be 24 to 29. Then 30 to 35. Then we're going to have 36 to 41. Then we're going to have 42 to 47. Then we're going to have 48 to 53. And finally 54 to 59. Those are groups of 5. We always have to have groups of 5. Okay? If we start with groups of 5, we have to have groups of 5 throughout the entire thing. Yes? True. If you mess up on the numbers here, then your whole histogram is going to be off. Your whole frequency table is going to be off. Yes? No, you do not have to do groups of 5. Let's say we had a set of data that was like, let's say we had sets of data that the numbers were like 100 and 115 and 120 and 130 and then 160, 180, 205. You know, let's say we had a set of data like that. You have to choose your interval. The most important thing to remember, though, is whatever interval you choose, it needs to stay that interval throughout the entire table. Okay? The other thing that you need to decide is, like for this one, we could easily make two quick intervals, 0 to 25 and 26 to 51. But that would mean that I would only have two sets of data. I don't want that. Okay? Make sure that you choose enough intervals that have a number that will go here. See what I mean? Understand what I'm saying? Now, 6 to 11, let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Help me if I miss one. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Did I get them all? Oh. 18? Did I count that right? Yep. 18. Okay, 12 to 17. One, 2, 3, 3, 18 to 21, or 18 to 23, I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. All we have left really is 30, 31, and 52, right? So this one's going to have 0, this one's going to have 2, this one's going to have 0, this one's going to have 0, and this one's going to have 1. One's going to have 0, right? Here we go. Done. There is our frequency table. Yes. No, that's just, no. Nope, that's just the way my table was. So now we have our frequency table. We have 22 representatives, 22 states. This means 22 states have between 0 and 5 representatives, because this is number of representatives per state. So 22 states have between 0 and 5 representatives. 18 states have between 6 and 11 representatives. 3 states have between 12 and 17. 4 states have between 18 and 23. 0 have those. 2 have that many. 0, 0, and 1 has 50, between 48 and 53. So this is a way to look at the data. Now, the next thing that we're going to do with this table, with what we just made, we are going to be asked to make what's called a histogram. Now, a histogram is a lot like a bar graph. It looks very, very similar. I know anybody that has had scientific inquiry has experience making bar graphs. This is very, very similar. First of all, the one thing that I want to ask you, which one is the x-axis and which one is the y-axis? Which one is which? No. The x is the one that goes across. The y is the one that goes up and down. Okay? We also, we need to have labels. We need to know what everything is going to be. So what I'm going to do is, a histogram has frequency down one side. And then the other side says, is going to be number of reps or representatives. I'm just going to call it, say reps for time's sake. Now using our table, if we look at this, our largest number is going to be 22. So we're going to have to go up. We're going to have to make lines for 22. And I'm going to choose groups of an interval of 4. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 22, 24. Is that confusing?
No, you put 22.
Why did I do that? Yeah, I was doing groups of 4. Doesn't that seems confusing, doesn't it? When I see you do it, and I see you guys do that. It is so important that when you start with groups of, when you do 4, always do 4 all the way up. If you go 5, I don't care, go 5. Go 5 all the way up. Go 1 all the way up. But don't go 4, 8, 12, then 30, because you know all of a sudden you realize, oh my gosh, my graph is going to be, I'm gonna run out of room on my paper, so all of a sudden you make this big jump. Because then it isn't a good representation of your data. Because if your thing goes 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, and my next number, let's say it's 50, you would have one bar graph that ends like right here, that means 24, and you could have the next bar graph that ends right there. And it looks as if these two bar graphs are really close, doesn't it? It looks like it's almost the same amount, isn't it? When actually the one on the right here is supposed to be double the size. So that's why you cannot do that. Don't do that. On the bottom of my histogram, I have to put all of my intervals. The intervals that I chose from here. So my first interval, I'm going to put a little line here. And I'm going to say this is 0 to 5. My next interval was what? 6 to 11. My next one was 12 to 17. My next interval was 18 to 23. Then what? 24 to 29. 30 to 35. 36 to 41. 42 to 47. 48 to 53. And then I had 54 to 59. Okay. This is a histogram. It's a little different than a bar graph. Okay? My first number, my 0 to 5 had what? 22 in it. So then I find my line at 22. Okay? And then I'm going to color it in. Now a histogram, I want all of these to be touching. My next one's going to be the next color. 6 to 11 was 18. Find 18. Color it in. My next one, 12 to 17, had how many? 3. It's going to be somewhere like right in there. 4 is the next one. Okay. This one's going to be just a little touch higher. And then we had 24 is 0. 30 to 35 is 2. So we got to go 2. I don't even put anything there because this is 0. So I put this is 0. Nothing there. This one is 2. So we're going to have a little. Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit higher. All the way up to 2. Should be 2. 0, 0, and my last one was 1. Right here. And there's my histogram. Am I done? Why? Don't have a title. Need to have a title. Okay? Number of reps by state. There we go. Now we got a title. When you guys do this, you're going to do it on graph paper. So it's going to be neat. All right? Question. You should. All right? There's your histogram. Now this is 2 ways to represent data. What I just showed you is 2 ways to represent data. I'm going to show you a couple more. Okay? By the way, you will have a quiz in a couple days. On that quiz, you're going to have to make a frequency table. You're going to have to make a histogram. You're going to have to make what is called a tally table. And I'm going to show you how to do this. Make a tally table based on the color shirts in the 6th grade classroom. Oh, okay. First of all, I'm going to give it a title. Be neater than me. I'm going to cross that off just to save some time. The color shirts in the 6th grade classroom. Okay, well, in the 6th grade classroom, all we have are red, blue, and purple shirts. All right? So, red shirts. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So basically what we would do is I'd look in a classroom, I'd count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I would do this. I would not do this. That's not a tally. I would make a tally mark. I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why do I make that little cross there? Why do I cross that tally table? Why? I can look at it and yeah, it'd be easy to count them up. 5 plus 2 is 7. Don't do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't do that. That's bad. Don't do it. All right, next one. Let's see. Blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't matter what way I put my little cross line. It makes no difference at all. Okay. And we got purple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There. There's my tally table. Okay, that one's very easy. The last thing you're going to be asked to do, you are also going to be asked to make what's called a line plot. Okay? Well, this is really easy because all you have to do, make a number line. So we got the line here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Watch this. This is the complicated part. We have an 8, right? Put an X there. We have a 3. Put an X there. We have a 5. Put an X there. We have a 6. Put an X there. Yep. We have a 7. Put an X there. We have an 8. Oh, put an X up above it. We have a 5. Put an X above it. Oh, another 5. There's your line plot. Okay? That's it. That's all you need to do. If you know how to do all of these things, then you will know what to do on your quiz in a couple days. Question? I just did it to fill out the thing. No, you don't have to make it one number larger. You can, sure, fine, whatever. Don't do this. Again, your interval here is 1. 1, 2, my space between these are 1. I noticed on quizzes and stuff before, you guys have done this where you've gone 1, 2, 3, and then all of a sudden jump to 5, and then to 12, or whatever, just to make your stuff fit. Don't do that. You need to keep your same interval the whole time. All right? Your assignment, page 316, 5 to 8, all. Please listen. Everybody, please listen. Hey, attention, up here. You are going to be asked to make a histogram. I'm going to give you a piece of graph paper. You can do this entire assignment on that graph paper if you want. If you only want to do the histogram on the graph paper, that's fine. But your histogram must be on the graph paper. Do you understand? Raise your hand if you heard me say the histogram must be on the graph paper. Excellent. So, everything else you can put on a regular sheet or do it on the graph paper. I don't care, whatever.